All right, everybody, welcome to She Sparks, our speaker meeting. We do this every Tuesday from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are bringing you value in the form of a guest speaker with a specific set of strengths. So today we have Kristy Ball. She is a realtor with Coldwell Banker, and she is going to talk to us about mailers and every door direct mail. So Kristy, thank you so much for being here.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I was mentioning before to anyone who's online with us that this is an interactive presentation, so please feel free to interact and ask questions as we go along. Hopefully I'll cover everything for you, but just so you know, I love the interaction. So we're going to be talking about every door direct mail for realtors and how to actually get the response that you are looking for. The way that I look at this, I see it as an investment. And with any good investment, if it's not making you money, you should do one of two things: stop immediately or be willing and open to consider doing this in another way. So right off the bat. So a little background on me. My family actually owns a printing company, which is how I got introduced to Every Door. We do a ton of work, like in the millions of copies for different real estate agencies. I'm up in the Northeast. I'm in New Jersey. So how it all came about was a friend of mine was a realtor, and we had been printing, and she was like, I want to do this. I want to do the Every Door. And now this woman is a saint. She's a Rotarian. She's a wonderful human being. And I thought, okay, she's spending her own money on this. This isn't being bought by corporate. So I want to really talk to her and see how we can make this really benefit her. So we had a meeting and we sat down, and I said, you know what, you're in a very competitive market. Why should someone who gets a card from you pick you over all the other realtors that are out there? So we talked about her differences and what makes her special, and why, who the right person is to actually work with her. So we devised a plan and came up with some direct mail using the Every Door that got her some crazy great response rates. I think off the first card, she said she made $25,000 in commission.
Oh.
So once I heard that, I became passionate about helping other realtors, not just to put something out there, but to actually think about it, and come up with a way that they could use Every Door direct mail and make the most money from it, and that the people that they are working with could benefit from their services as well. So just a little background on where this all came about and why. So realtors are definitely some of the best marketers out there, both online and off. You guys, we're incredible. I mean, we're out there, we're letting people know what's happening. So we're prime for doing marketing the best way possible and saving us the most amount of money. So I just want to ask, how many of you are currently using direct mail of any kind for your real estate business?
The guilty party, which I'm sure you're going to get to this, did it for 2 months, stopped.
Oh.
I know. Kimmy raised her hand though. So Kimmy's here. She's listening. She said she does it too. But no, she probably doesn't stop like.
Okay. Okay, so clearly my next question would be
too, Kirsten.
Say again.
What did you say, Kimmy?
I said I'm guilty of stopping too.
Okay, so my next question was going to be, how has it worked for you? So I'm assuming if you stopped 2 months in, it did not work for you.
Did not work for me.
Kimmy?
No, same. Well, to preface it, I have a services business, I have a home inspection business. Yeah, I've never had a consistent campaign. So agreed. I never had any result from it. So
okay. So I hear that a lot. So this is one of those times where if you want to make a note, this would be a good time to make a note. There's only 3 reasons why direct mail doesn't work for realtors. Number 1 is inconsistent. That's the number 1 reason. We'll go into each one a little bit further. Number 2, not prospecting in one place, which we'll go into further as well. And number 3, not solving our audience's real estate problems. All right, so let's talk about each one of these. So number 1 is inconsistent. So that is absolute number 1 in direct mail. Consistency is paramount. If you're not going to be consistent, don't do it. Don't start it. Don't dabble in it. It's look at it like doing one Facebook post and then going, Facebook doesn't work. I can't get anything from this. You understand? So do not get involved if you're not going to commit to it. So that's the number one thing we have to keep in mind. Do you guys know who Reminder Media is?
I know Corey does, I guess. I do not.
Yeah, so they're a pretty big company, at least up in this area. I don't know about nationwide, but they did this study. They called it the 8x8 study. And basically they went around to a neighborhood and they said, who would you say is the number one agent in this neighborhood? And, you know, people came up with different answers or they weren't sure. So then they did an 8x8 campaign where they actually sent out cards, a card a week for 8 weeks. And they went back to the same neighborhood shortly afterwards. And they asked the same question. Who would you say is the number one agent in this neighborhood? And they all said the agent that did the most mailing, because they were consistent. They were investing in their business. It made them look like they were successful, whether they were a brand new agent or had been in it for years. So it's the way it looks to people when you are consistently mailing to the same place over and over, it makes you look successful.
Mhm.
All right. So this is the plan, and we'll get into it a little bit further. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it for a year, 12 months. You're going to mail one card. You're going to get one card out to one place 12 times over the next year. So you're going to put it on your calendar, mark it as a meeting, whatever you're going to do. You're going to get a card, and we're going to talk about what cards actually work and make the phone ring or get you those texts or those messages. So one card a month for 12 months. If you're can't do it, don't get started. Keep it for when you can. After you've got, a couple of good closings under your belt, then you get started. All right. The number two.
Can I ask a quick question, Kristy, real quick?
Yeah.
When we're on number one. So Kimmy had a question. I agree, Kimmy. Kimmy asked that 8x8 study. She said, was that Greg Herter who did that study? She said, I think I heard him tell that story. He was a KW trainer for a long time. And she said, and then in that study, they used a fake agent in that 8 mailings to kind of prove the point.
I don't know if that's the name, but yeah, it wasn't even a real agent.
That's awesome.
So it's really powerful proof. I mean, it's all marketing. Look at, Coca-Cola, even McDonald's, like everyone knows them, but they're constantly marketing. They're constantly getting the message out there. Yeah. Even to this day, 20, 30, 40 years later. So
yeah,
yes,
awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you for answering that. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no problem. Feel free. Okay, number two, not prospecting in one place. I see this all the time. This one's important. So this is not about you sending a card out because you sold a house in XYZ town and you're going, hey, I just sold this house in this town, and you send one card and you never do anything ever again. Oh, and then you sell one over here. So you said, hey, I got this new, maybe you'll do a just listed, and then you'll do a just sold, you do a couple, but nothing comes of it. And you think direct mail doesn't work. We're not going to do that. If you're doing that now, we're going to change what you're doing, because that's not going to work. We're going to pick a farm and we're going to stick to it. And we'll talk a little bit more about picking the farm, because we're all licensed in the entire state of wherever it is that we live, and we can market anywhere, but we only have a certain amount of budget, and we need to stick to it, and we need to get in front of the same people over and over and over, not get in front of this guy once and get in front of this neighborhood once. That's not going to get us the goal of using direct mail. So we're going to talk about, we're going to pick one place. We're going to get noticed and recognized by prospects over time. And that's how we're going to do it. We can't accomplish that if we're spreading our marketing efforts and dollars all over the place. It feels natural to want to do that and chase, where we are, what's something that's working, but it's not for this particular strategy. We're not going to go that way. We're going to just take that off the table completely. So let's talk about how you should go about picking your prospect area, because this isn't step number one. If you're going to decide this is the year or the month that I'm going to get involved with direct mail for my real estate business. So what do you think? What's the best way to pick your prospect area?
Is it percentage of turnover in like the number of times, percentage of selling and buying in that neighborhood?
I mean, absolutely. That should definitely be a consideration for sure.
Check who may be listing the homes when they turn over.
You mean in an area that doesn't have like a number one agent? Is that what you
Yes.
mean?
Or does that
Okay.
even matter? That might not matter.
I mean, we're coming. We're coming. We're prepared. We're not worrying about what anyone else is doing. We
There you
are
go.
focused.
I love
Yeah,
that.
like we're not really worried about who's there now for sure, because we're on our way. But I do see your point. What's another reason you might pick a prospect area?
I've been also very focused on the neighborhoods that are like stone throw from my house to make it really convenient.
Absolutely. My friend Pat that I was telling you about, she was a lifelong Fanwood, New Jersey resident. And she's marketing all over the place, the whole Union County, which is where she lives. But she's not known all over Union County. There are towns that never even heard of her before, but she was very well known in the town of Fanwood. So Pat chose her prospect area to be where she lived because she was well known there. She had a lot of friends there. She did a lot of business networking there. She was a Rotarian there. All right. So wherever it is that you're already somewhat known, the kids go to school there, you know, all these different reasons. You play sports there, you're on a pickleball team, you golf at the local club, or whatever, wherever you're most well known already is going to give you a leg up. So a lot of times people tend to pick where they're from because they're the most well known. So it's a little warmer. It's sort of a warm up to where you are already known. All right, so that's about picking our prospect area. And I'm going to show you later on what to do with that information. So if you can write down what you said your prospect area was going to be, and then I'm going to show you how to go figure out how many people are in your prospect area, and that'll give you your quantity, because that's what your printer will need. If you're gonna start making these direct mail cards, they're gonna say, okay, no problem, but how many do you need? And that's going to be your monthly number. So you can go out and get quotes as well too, and say, hey, I need, 542 postcards or whatever your budget will allow. And that's the same number month after month after month. So you know what it is, you know what the investment is, it never changes, you're sticking with it, and you can budget it out for the year. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Number 3, this one is huge. These 3 things are so important. I hope you hear them and they sink in. Number 3
Got them written down.
all right, good, is not discussing real estate problems and solutions. So what we do as realtors, so many times we're like, oh, we just did this, we just did that, we just sold, we just listed, we have an open house, we have all this stuff going on, right? Which is great. It's wonderful. And a lot of times we use acronyms that are within the industry that the regular layman homeowner has no idea what they even mean. So there's 2 problems I have with that. One is, as a non-realtor, which I was most of the time that I've been doing this, I didn't know what those acronyms meant. And I expect you as a realtor to be selling homes and listing homes. Like that's like the minimum. Like, of course you're just listed, you're just sold, and you're at open houses. That's not differentiating you from anyone else. That's bare minimum. That's what you do for a living. Okay.
Yeah.
And number 2, other problem with that is this is not a card. If I get a card, and I'm not saying there's not a place for them. There definitely is. It's like proof of success, but it's not something that I'm going to get in the mail and go, oh, my brother, I'm not in this boat, but my brother is in this boat. I'm going to send this information to a family member, a neighbor, someone I went to college with, because they're in this boat that this person's talking about.
Yeah.
So this is a big shift. This is how we go from direct mail that doesn't work for realtors to direct mail that actually gets us some listings, which is the whole point. So let's talk about it. I mean, what do most realtors do? What's their message when they're sending out direct mail? What was your message? What were you talking about?
What I used personally was, I definitely wasn't solving any problems. I think I was just like trying to be and I did more than 2 months. I did like 5 months, but I was trying to be consistent so people would recognize me. So I had my face on there, but I also try to do like, Corey, what would you call it? Like an incentive, like like an offer. We were like an offer for a seller, basically. And you know, something that would get them interested enough to pick up the phone and call us is what I was trying to like an offer to list their home with some certain incentive to list their home with us.
I actually like that. I like incentives.
Okay.
Anybody
I think
else?
so Kirsten and I were kind of accountability partners on this, and I think it was last June, right?
Yeah, then I had a baby.
Yeah, then she had a baby.
Oh, boy.
We did the same, like on the back of the postcard, I would say the same offer, which was nice, but and it hasn't worked. I've done it 10 times in the last 12 months. And it was either a free pie or come join this neighborhood event, or I just sold this house, or this house is just listed, but nothing really value type ads.
Okay. Anybody else want to add in what they've been doing?
Kimmy just did some Mayflowers or little seeds in packets to people, which is really sweet.
That's cute.
Yeah, I'll chime in case you have something helpful. So yes, like I said, my main mailers are for my home inspection company. So I'm targeting realtors. Oh my gosh, I've participated with so many expensive mailers, but not consistent, like a one-time mailer. It was a disaster. But I'm trying to do quarterly, like just appreciation. It was literally a packet of flower seeds and just said happy spring, love us. But I would love if there's ever a strategy to like target new realtor clients. Like that would be a goal of mine too. So like you're saying, I guess apply the same theory, use the same batch of people every 12 months. But yeah, for now, I've just been doing little trinkets. They say it's something that gets you remembered between the mailbox and the trash can. Something that they would keep, but that's not a postcard, obviously.
Well, it could be, depending on what we're talking about. But okay, yeah, I like that. All right, so let's do this. Let's talk about what some issues. So we're thinking when we're doing direct mail, we're going to think about the recipient. Okay, who's actually going to receive this thing in the mail from us? All right, so what kinds of real estate issues do people have that you've dealt with? Probably already part of your business. You've dealt with different things.
Interest rates skyrocketing.
Okay.
Well, are we talking about the listing side specifically?
I mean, more so you would be talking about listing because you're mailing a piece out to a homeowner. So yeah, I mean, interest rates are certainly an issue for buyers.
Well, the listing folks are like, I'm going to make all this money, but then I'm going to go have to pick up large interest rate and large monthly payment.
Right.
Yeah. So, and this might be along the same line, Corey, is the same that I run into this issue with listings all the time, with potential list sellers all the time is, yeah, I'd love to sell my home and cap out on this amazing market, but where am I going to go?
Right. That is huge. So have we worked at all on the answer for that?
No, I'm still drawing a blank.
Where are they going to go? Like we got to be problem solvers. We can't suggest to people that they move if we haven't done the work to help them figure out where they could go.
The motivation I feel like has to be there. Like they either like have to have one of the D's, like a divorce, or I forgot what the D was for kids, or a diamond, or I forgot what the other ones.
Yeah, that's good.
But I feel like the empty nesters, I can't remember the D for that one, but I feel like they have to have a motivation to move. Like it can't just be.
Yeah, they definitely have to want to move. I mean, no matter what we do or what we say, if they don't want to do it, we're salespeople, but you can't sell anybody anything that they don't want, no matter what you say, no matter how much money you throw at it. You know what I mean? If they don't want to move, then it's not going to happen. But there's a lot of women that do, and that's what we're going to be focused on.
So we had somebody respond in the chat. Her mic isn't working. Casey said, maybe it could be about other issues like a reminder to pump septics or regular maintenance on houses.
Yeah, that is something I think that's something that's important. Definitely. We have septics up here where I am as well. And in the consistency area, where we're reaching out on a consistent basis, I think that would be great. Here's a couple that I wrote down as well. Family in crisis. So it's another way of saying, people who are restructuring their family, or they're getting divorced. Like there's that D you mentioned, you know what I mean? Everyone is so afraid to put this down in a direct mail piece, but it's a fact. And if they're not getting divorced, chances are they know someone who is. And we can't just say, hey, if you're getting divorced, call me. Like we have to actually have a plan for people whose families are going through a transition. And if that's something you've been through and can help, like I dealt with a lot of those, and being able to help those people and letting them know what to expect. And that's the kind of card that's going to get passed to somebody. Like, yeah, maybe I'm not getting divorced, but chances are, someone who is, or they know, someone, if you start talking about it, somebody knows somebody that is. And I'm going to give you this list because there's like 24 of them. I have a sheet of 24 good ideas for every door direct mail. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to give you a sheet that basically has a start date and then a line for each and every month. Like if you don't have this planned out, you're going to go, that was great, and it's never going to happen.
Wow,
So I'm going to give it to
that's
you.
awesome.
Yeah, you're going to go through these and you're going to pick the ones that resonate with you, because not all of them, like Pat's number one card, the realtor I keep referring to from Fanwood, she had just gotten her senior designation that you can get. And she's fabulous with older people. She's like the sweetest woman, she's middle-aged and she's wonderful. Now, not everyone feels that way. Not everyone wants to work with the senior market and they don't feel that they're a good fit. But for her, it resonated with her. And then it resonated with the people that received it. And she has done so much work and she goes above and beyond for these people. She has a list of resources, like she's the woman for that market. Now, if that's not you, you pass by that one and you say, okay, this is not a good fit for me. I'm not going to do that one. So we talked about family in crisis, selling a senior's home, which is what Pat did, because it's different. Where are they going to go? Like you said earlier, they got to go to assisted living, or are they going to move in with somebody? What do we do with all the stuff they've accumulated for the last 30 years? These are the types of things that should be in the card, not just I'm a great realtor. Like solve someone's problem. My God, my mother has a house, and you know what I mean? Because if it's not now, it's a matter of when, you know what I mean? Maybe your mom or dad isn't doing well and it's not happening right now, but they'll hold on to it for when it is, or they know someone whose mom and dad or grandparents or whatever are in that boat.
That's awesome. Wait, we got a question real quick. Corey, you got a question?
Sure.
Well, yeah, first of all, Kristy, thank you. Brilliant. My phone here. I'm like, that's amazing. And it's so funny as realtors, we can get so scared about niching down and getting into that niche and saying like, I specialize in helping seniors find good care in the area or anything like that. And it's, I'm like, my questions left the building. I did have a question. Oh yeah. So do you then say I specialize in X, or how do you?
Absolutely.
I feel so uncomfortable saying some of those things, or I specialize in divorce. Like, what's the value add there?
First of all, I couldn't agree with you more. Everybody has, a license to sell real estate in the entire state of wherever it is they live. But let's be honest, depending on how big your state is, chances are you're not going to every nook and cranny, and you're maybe sending out a referral to someone else. And to me, you can't be of value to someone if you don't specifically have value for them. Like, if you haven't sold in the luxury market, do you belong in a $10 million house because you have your real estate license? Are you the right person for the job? So what better way to actually get the word out? Pick who are you? Who are you? And because you have to differentiate. There's 30,000 realtors or something, like crazy number up here in New Jersey. There's a ton. And how do you have to differentiate, or they just don't even know who you are. Be proud of who you are and resonate with the people. And it's not going to be everyone, but it's not going to be anyone anyway. So at least you have a shot at something if you have a target and aim for it. If you're just throwing things out, you have a better chance of being something of value to somebody specific if you say who you are. You know what I mean? So I know it's scary. I don't know if any of you, are you familiar at all with BNI?
Mm-mm.
It's a networking, international
Yes.
networking organization. I know it's a tough situation, but I highly recommend it for realtors if you can get in. But I'll just mention real quick that their whole thing, and everyone fights it, is being specific when you stand up each week and say who it is you are and what you do, because you can do your thing for everyone. And anyone that's in this boat, you can help. But that doesn't get somebody to actually pass you a referral, because anybody isn't a person. I don't know anybody, but I might know someone who's getting divorced. I might know someone who lives in Fanwood. I might know a senior person. You're trying to get a referral to a person, whether you're using a networking event, an online source, or direct mail. So you got to say, who's that person? Who is the person? Are they older? Are they divorcing? Are they an empty nester, like you said? Do they want to cash out on this? Do they have pets? Do they hate the idea of having anyone come through their house? And what is your solution for that? This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. This is who we're going to go, oh my God, my realtor is the best. She did this. All right. Because that generic stuff is just not going to cut it.
That's
All right.
awesome.
I'm going to keep going, give you some other ideas. I'm going to give you this list too, but just to get your brain going, thinking.
Thank you. This is so good.
Oh, good.
I love what Kimmy, I also really love what Kimmy said. She said, I think people are afraid if they say divorce, anyone who isn't divorcing will never use them.
So that's why I call it family in crisis. And it doesn't mean it's them. I'm doing a direct mail to a town about families in crisis. Now that might get me a listing in another town because somebody's sister. You can either be afraid, and a lot of people are, and they don't do it. I can tell you a lot of my business has come from families in crisis. So you can either be scared and not do it, because there's 23 other ones we can come up with, and probably if we kept going, we could think of more, but it's a fact. I don't know, maybe it's not as big a fact where you guys are. Where I am, it's a big fact. It's one of the D's. So you can do it in a gentle way. You can word it, like we said, family in crisis or families in transition. You know what I mean? So there's lots of different things that are families in transition. Like you said, it could be the kids are now in college. That's a family in transition. You know what I mean? I need to downsize for whatever reason. My mom, I got to move my mom in. That's a family in transition. It's not just divorce. Right? So we can use a term that's more palatable and that we're more comfortable with. And the point is here, we're trying to help people with our real estate license who have real estate issues. That's what we're doing. And when we get that message across, that's when you're going to be successful with your direct mail or even your social media or whatever you're doing. Make sense?
Yeah.
And they either have a problem or they don't, and not everyone does. And not maybe in that moment, that's where the consistency in real estate and a lot of other things, if you were selling HVAC, heating and air, either they got a broken air conditioner or they don't. But if you're not marketing on a consistent basis, when that air conditioner breaks, they're not calling you. You know what I mean? So it's just that constant flow. This is who I am. This is what I do. You may not need it now, but you might in the future. You may know someone who's in this boat. Okay.
And given some of the examples that you've said, is that what you like? Do you keep your mailers short and sweet? And you may be getting into this, so I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead, but like families in transition, is that kind of like your tagline, your header, and then underneath you say a little, helped Kirsten Paris has helped families in transition in the past, and here's my number.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that.
Oh,
and,
okay.
A little bit further, but yeah, it's important. It's not all, the golden key and the picture of the house, like that's so what everyone else is doing. So the one we did for Pat for the seniors, which is a family in transition as well, you could use that terminology. It was imagery of it was a 3-part series, but I'll just keep it brief. It was an image of an older couple. There was no house to be seen on this postcard. It was an image of an aging couple, and it said something like, is selling, I don't have it in front of me, but is selling, selling a senior home has its unique challenges, I think was one of them, how we worded it. And another one was, is selling the right thing to do. Like we were just honest about it. We didn't just say, sell your mom's home today. It was basically, is this what should happen? And then the back was about, selling a senior's home is different. It comes with concerns that aren't in other transactions. I have a whole list of resources, because you can't just move mom. You know what I mean? Like you said, where's she going to go? Who's moving all this stuff out? What about the deferred maintenance? Like 1,000 things. And it niched her. It niched her. And that's why it worked. Like you were saying before, Corey. So I can even show you, she knows I show everybody her particular card. So I'm open book. I'll share everything with everybody, because I just want to see everyone succeed. So I'd be happy to send all that over to you just to get some ideas. I mean, don't copy it verbatim, but you'll get what resonates with you. And I think that's what will come through in your card.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Okay. So then we talk about another one is investing in real estate for retirement. How many cards have you seen that we're talking to investors? There's a lot of people. They're scared about the economy and the state of the banks, and everybody's putting money in their 401k. They don't even know if it's going to be there next month. How about talking to people who might want to be investing, for retirement, getting some investment properties, and what's your strategy? And how do you help people? And what do you spend? Or do you help them get into condos or multifamilies? Like, who are you? And how can they benefit from reaching out to you? Right? Makes sense? Estate.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
I'm guessing that would mean, like, depending on what I'm wondering if you would pick your farm differently based on that. Like if I was doing a senior one, would I pick my farm differently? Like my neighborhood would be great because it's about, we're the youngest people by 5 decades. So I think that might be maybe you would pick your farm a little bit differently. I wouldn't send it to downtown West Asheville, a senior one. I don't think it would be well received, but like you said, they have a grandparent, they have a parent.
I was just going to say that a lot of times it's the parents. Like I don't have that problem, but I have parents.
True. Good point.
I'm not in that boat right now, but I am with my parents. It's just a matter of time. Right? But we're sticking to a farm area and we're not moving.
Got it. Heard. Look at me already trying to squirrel somewhere else.
Remind you, we're not chasing elderly people. We're not chasing listings. We are sticking to our farm and we're being of value to people in that farm.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So estates, what do people do when they inherit? That goes along, sometimes with the seniors. Sometimes people, all of a sudden they have this house they inherited, and now what are they going to do? And getting something from somebody who talks about having knowledge in that and the steps to do. I have a lot of those estates, people are like, oh, they don't even live in this area. And they all of a sudden inherited this house. So tell them about it. Give them the information. Like I'm giving you the information. Tell them. How do you help people who end up with a house, from someone who passed away? Why should you be the one they call if they have a house they need to sell because they just inherited it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. First time home buyers. Right. We know they're a huge part of the market up here. I think they said it's like 28% or something.
Wow.
And not everyone is a first-time home buyer, but like my brother has 4 children and all of a sudden all 4 of his kids were about to be first-time home buyers. They had no idea who to call. This was years ago. It had someone sent a card to my brother who was going to be helping all 4 of his kids, he would have absolutely said, this is the person we need to call. And here's why. This is what she does. She specializes in first-time home buyers. And here's what she says she does. No one is doing this. I'm telling you, they're not. They're going, just sold, just sold, just sold, just listed, just listed. Great. That's your business. Get in their business. They got kids who need to buy houses and they're not sure who to use. I get really fired up. So I'm sorry. I'm from.
No, I love it. I love the energy. And I'm like, just thinking back, I'm like, good Lord, mine were a disaster. The 5 that I did consistently.
You and everyone else. So don't worry about the past. Just help people. If you focus on helping people with real estate problems, and could you do help these people? You're just not marketing it. You're just saying just sold. That's like the end part, or just listed. Like, what was the scenario? And then help other people in that same scenario.
Yeah.
Right. Pledge of integrity. I love this one. We have not a great reputation as realtors. I don't know if some of you know that, maybe not as bad or better in some areas of the country. But there are, you know, people who've had bad experiences. I was one of them. It was actually one of the reasons why I wanted to become a realtor, from the bad experiences I had. So talk about it. Talk about your pledge of integrity. Talk about how I'm not going to get in this boat if I hire you. Right?
Yeah.
If that's the case for you, if it resonates for you, then use that. If it doesn't, then pass it by. And I can send you that. I have more stuff than you'll know what to do with. Trust me.
We'll use it. It's great.
Yeah, for sure. Buyer's guide, seller's guides, 5 ingredients that add up to sell price. Like, people wonder, how do these realtors come up with this, with these prices? Teach them what you know. Teach them. You know it. They don't know it. And the more they know, the more they're going to trust you. Right? And the more you're going to differentiate yourself. How to sell for the highest price. Everyone says, oh, I'll get you the highest price. How do you do that? Why should I believe you? You have a formula. Tell me what it is, because no one else is sharing it. You share it. It's no secret. Get it out there. This is how I get the highest price for your house. This is how I sell your house for the least hassle. Because there's a lot of people who are private and they don't want people, tons of people all over the place. If you want to sell your house with the least hassle possible, here's how I do it. Call me.
And the theory is like, give them that information on this mailer, not like give them a teaser and withhold some and hope that they call you.
Give it to them. Give it to them. Just like I'm doing for you. Give it to them. They need it. They're grateful. And maybe you'll get to work with some of them, right? No lockbox option. There's people that don't want a lockbox on their house. You know, what will you do as a realtor to get a listing that doesn't require a lockbox? That means you got to be there every time it shows. Maybe you say, listen, we'll do the showings Wednesday afternoon, Friday morning, and this time on Saturday, and that's it. And I'll be there every time.
That's an awesome idea.
Right? We're not thinking, we're doing the easy way. We're just going, oh, I did it. I got it out for the month. I got it out. If it's not working, we got to do something different. We got to bring more value with our direct mail, and people will respond to it. Are you a staging expert? I am so bad at staging. Oh my God. Terrible. But there are people, it's a God-given talent. There are realtors out there who are so fantastic with staging. Say it, because I would be interested in a realtor who had stage, because I'm terrible at it. And say why it's important. Your house will sell for more if I stage it, and I'll offer it if I'm your listing agent. And if you're not a staging expert, but your buddy in the office is, work together on it, you know, or whatever. Help the people. Oh my God, some people need staging. All right. So staging specialists, pledge of performance. What are you put your money where your mouth is? What is your pledge of performance? What is it that you are going to do, and stand by it? Put it in writing. Because the people that are looking for integrity, that's going to resonate with them. They want a realtor that they feel has a high level of integrity, and that will resonate with them.
Can you give an example of a pledge of performance one? Like, what would you feel comfortable putting? Like, can you just give an example of that one?
Not off the top of my head, but I have it written out and I will send it to you.
I just think of,
I have all these and I will send them all to you and then you can alter them in any way that fits you the best. I have it all. So I'll send it to
no,
you.
that's great. Cause I just think of this is so simple, but I don't know how to like make this not sound juvenile or on the card. But like I have clients tell me all the time, thanks for answering your phone. Like it's something so simple. And I didn't realize that was so important to so many clients, but I've heard it from so many clients.
And I have heard that as well. And that is absolutely part of your pledge of performance,
Okay.
how you will communicate, how often you will communicate, you know, and that you will take into consideration how they prefer to be communicated with. You know, some people
Yeah.
at work, they can't take phone calls, you know, but they can take a text or whatever. The amount of communication and the method of communication is huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely putting that in writing. Definitely.
Okay, I love it. Yeah, one of our an agent in our market, Casey, said, yes, answer the phone. That's all you need out here. So clearly it's a pain point in our market.
Then put it out there.
Yeah.
Let's see, 3 price strategies, you know, different ways you can price something where, you know, they say, okay, put it on high and, you know, market it from there, sort of that. I don't know if you guys have access to that like triangle pyramid where they say most of the buyers are. If you put it on at the right price, that's like 95% of the buyers. I can send it to you. I'll send it to you. But like different ways of pricing things. Selling for pet owners, there's a whole one on that. And you can use like a great graphic. I have one, I'll send it to you. You know, there's things we got to deal with when we're trying to sell a house with somebody who's got pets. Tell them what it is. Let them know up front. Here, what's the deal? You got 2 Great Danes, probably something, you know, we should come up with a plan before we get started.
Yeah.
How I sell houses that have not been updated. Not everybody, you know, has the mansion on the hill that's been updated, you know, every 10th year or whatever. You know, there's houses that need work and they're maybe embarrassed or they need help, or how do you, you know, do the best for those people? Speak to them. What's the best time to sell? Are you the #1 agent in your town? You know, not everybody is, but if you are, then that's something you would definitely want to talk about.
And all of these, it's just resonating with me. All of these are like, okay, that may not apply to you know, my neighbor, but she's been in my house and she knows that I still have wallpaper, as you can see on my wall. So she would, you know, bring that over to me. So yeah, that's yeah, you're so right. Like all of this resonates with me. It's like, oh yeah, no lockbox option, that would work for so and so. So that's
right. So if we
awesome.
stick to the same farm and we talk about all these different topics, you're going to pick 12. All you got to do is pick the 12 that resonate with you or the, you know, the area, you know, you're in, and you get it out there, get it out there, get it out there on a consistent basis. You're going to get listings from it.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll send that. That's not all of them, but that's, you know, enough for this presentation. So you get the gist of where I'm trying to go with this.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So what's our #1 thing? We have to be
Consistent.
What's our #2 thing?
Not prospecting in one place.
We're going to stay only in one place. All these things, we're going to pick a place and we're going to stick to it. And
Yeah.
number 3.
Oh, that's what I meant, in more than one place. Sorry.
Right. And number 3,
we got to solve a problem.
we're going to solve real estate problems.
I
Right.
did say the opposite.
And sending a just sold, whose problem does that solve?
That's so true. Yeah.
Of course, the
That's a-
phone's not ringing. What are they going to say? Oh, congratulations on selling that person's house. I'm very happy for you. You know what I mean? Like, that's great, but we're solving real estate problems for the people
Yeah.
around us, because that's what we
Yeah.
do. Right?
That is so good.
Okay. So those other ones are all good. Won't necessarily make the phone ring. Okay. So that's what we're talking about. So our goal is to get business from our direct mail, not to just announce our activity. So, so this sort of, we're going to get into now, we're going to focus on the receiver. We're going to talk a little bit about the piece. So the messaging and the imagery have to resonate with the receiver. So like if you're choosing to do the senior, selling a senior's home or any of those, you want to use imagery, you know, you don't want to use a young person with kids in front of a house. Like,
Mhm.
you want to be mindful. What you're trying to do is have the person, you're the person who's receiving it, resonate with the card. Do I look
Mhm.
like those people? Okay, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, first time home buyers, would be a younger looking, that looks like somebody's young kids, whatever age, 18 to 30 or whatever the
Yeah.
age is now. You know what I'm saying? So the imagery, don't just use generic, keys and all that kind of stuff. Like, think of the recipient when you're designing your piece.
Yep.
Is what I'm trying to say. And the messaging as well. It's all about them. You're on there, all your contact information is on there, but all the wording that you're going to use is going to discuss the real estate issue that they are having or someone they know is having. Okay.
Yep.
Clear call to action. What do you want these people to do? So let's say they are someone who just inherited a house because someone's aunt Josephine just passed away. What should they do?
Call
Okay,
me.
call to action. Call you and you will do what?
Help them with their inheritance.
Specific. You and your card's going to specifically state how you're going to help them.
Okay.
You have to differentiate. Be specific. Be
Okay.
specific. How specifically are you going to help these people? And you're going to have to think about it. How do you help people who are in that
Yeah.
boat? Okay. Be specific so they can go, this is the girl I need to use for this job.
Okay.
Okay. So a clear call to action. All right. So we are on to finding your prospects. Unless you guys have any questions for me, we're going to.
I do, but I'll save it because you might cover it, so I can save it.
Okay, so I'm actually going to switch. I'm not even going to show you this. I'm going to go right to this. Hold on one second. I'm going to share this with you. Actually, I'll do it now, and you'll watch me do it so you can learn. All right, I'm going to share
great.
the screen. Is that okay?
Please do.
Okay. Share. Okay, here's where you're going to go. So make a note, USPS.com/EDDM. which stands
Corey, this is like exactly what we could never figure out how to do. This is like the solution.
every door direct mail, United States Postal Service, every door direct mail. We're going to log in. So for those of you who don't have an account, you would get one. I just logged in. All right. So the reason we use every door, real quick, there's different ways to do direct mail. Every door is the cheapest possible way to do direct mail in the entire country. It's only 18 cents a piece in postage, which is less than nonprofits pay to do mailings. So the reason it's so inexpensive is because it's a form of saturation mailing. So what that means is we're saying, here's where we want to mail, and we want one to go to every town. We're not even going to put their address on it. You're just going to take it and give it to everybody with the day's mail. So the United States Postal Service said, okay, none of this is going through any of the machinery. It's dropping right off at the post office. Give them a great rate. It's to help small businesses get involved and be able to use direct mail. Okay, there's different ones, but there's lists involved, your past customers and all that. That's not what we're talking about. Today, we're just talking about every door. Okay, so when you get here, USPS.com/EDDM, it takes you to this EDDM online toolbox. You see it?
Yep.
You're going to click there. Okay, so wherever it's showing you where I am, but give me a street where one of you are, and we'll focus in on where you are.
You can use my address. It's 140 Ridgeview, all one word, Drive, Hendersonville, North Carolina.
Hendersonville, North Carolina. Okay. Okay, so we're going to put in the address. We're trying to figure out where our farm is going to be. This is where we're going to stick, and we're not going to move for the next year. This is what we're doing. So once you've put in your address, you're going to go here to where it says residential, and you're going to click this residential routes only, because we're not reaching out to businesses unless you have your commercial license as well and you want to reach the businesses. You want to click this button, residential route only. Okay, that's going to take out the businesses and just mail to the homes. Then we're going to click search right here. Search. It's going to zoom in. It's going to show you a map right around that address that we put in. Now you see that red circle?
Yep.
That's a radius. There's a way you can do it. There's several different ways you can do it. I'm going to try to keep it simple, but so the pin is the actual address you gave me. Now, if I hover over this, I'm going to zoom in. See this little plus button right here at the bottom right?
Yeah.
That's going to let me zoom in closer. Okay, so I can actually see the names of the streets. See? I don't know
Yeah.
if you can see, it might be small on your screen.
No, we can see them.
Okay, so here, right, if I put my cursor right on that pin and I hover over, if I click there, that's my home route, if you will, for lack of a better term. Once you click on it, it turns blue. Now, if you look up here, it says route R007, residential 727. There's the count for the printer. You want to mail to that, if that's your farm, you have 727 people living in that farm area. The businesses we're not doing. They give you a little bit of demographic information here. You can.
Yeah, I
know,
told you we're
click on it.
seniors.
Yeah, it's pretty, from what I've seen, it's pretty average. Like there's never like, unless it's a 55 and older community, it's pretty diverse, includes
Yeah.
kids and everything. Here it talks about the income, and this is the cost in postage to mail to that route. So it costs you $137.40 to mail to those people a month. Now you'd still have to pay for printing,
Yeah.
but and printing's probably close to that. So that gives you your, let's say 137, less than $300 a month, and you're getting in front of 727 people monthly. All right. So let's just say we were going to go with that. Now, if we were getting bigger and we wanted to keep going, see how you just hover over and it turns, right? So let's say, okay, now I'm going to add this route.
Mm-hmm.
So now it shows me my total mail pieces here, 1362, and what the postage would be. Okay, so that's if you
Yeah.
had a bigger budget, you wanted to be getting in front of more people. Now, if I click here, see this table right here?
Yep.
If I click there, this shows you that zip code 28732 and the carrier routes. This is how the post office sees this town. So we're saying, okay, we're interested in these two routes. Now, I think that second one, if you change your mind, you don't want it, you just click on it and get rid of it. You decide you
Okay.
want to mail to the whole town, you click up here. It gives you a little, it's saying you have two different, you have to go to two different post offices if you wanted to mail to the whole town.
Okay.
All right. So let's just say we're going to stick with our original one. Was it this one?
Yep, that was it.
Okay, I'm just going to show you what to do next. So then if you say, okay, I'm in, this is my mailer for June 1st, I'm ready. And we click next step. We're going to say what the drop off date is. So let's say we're dropping it off today to the post office. This is going to come up my company, but yes, I've read and understand the rules. You can pay at the post office or you can pay online. So I'm going to just say post office right now because this isn't a live order, but you can literally type in your credit card and pay right online and your postage will be paid. Okay, so I'm just going to say pay at the post office. It's like, are you sure? Just give us your credit card number. I'm going to say, yeah, I'm sure. On this one, I'm sure. Okay, so then this is where everybody gets tripped up. This is important. They should really change this, but I don't work for them. So you have to scroll down. Here it's saying, thank you for your order. It's giving you your order number, your amount, number of pieces, blah, blah, blah. Create a new order. But you haven't gotten your old one yet. You have to keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling down to this button, print all forms.
Okay.
So if you click print all forms, which I'm going to do, okay. Now you can see it. This is the post office. So the first sheet says, okay, this is where you're bringing it. Now this tells the post office, okay, this is for us. This is the route number. This is how many pieces, and it has to be paid for. That goes on top. The next page, you're going to fill this. This is my printing company. You're going to fill this out. You're going to put your name will be here. And then you're going to put in your number. This would say paid if you paid with your credit card. You're going to sign it because, yeah, you handled everything that needed to be done. And then this is how many pieces. Remember, we talked about one route, 724 pieces. Then the next sheet is called a facing slip. So what you have to do is take your printing and take 100 stacks. So we're going to have 724 pieces from your printer in a stack. You can either have them band them in hundreds or you can do it yourself. Each 100 has to have one of these facing slips. So you're going to put in the
Okay.
date, May 23rd, 2023. Total number of pieces, 100. And we only have one route. So we're going to have 7 bundles, right? Because we had 724 pieces. So this would say 1 of 7, 2 of 7, 3
Yep.
of 7, 4 of 7, 5 of 7, 6 of 7. And when you get to 7 of 7, it's going to be 124 pieces because the mailing is 724 pieces. So that last one's not going to be 100. It's going to be a little bit more.
Yep.
Okay. And that's what they only give you one copy of the facing slip. So you got to copy it. In this case, you'd copy it 6 times.
Okay.
Then you have one for every bundle of 100.
Okay.
And it's the same thing. I know it seems like a lot. It's the same thing over and over and over. So this order, so that's it. You'll print those out and you'll do that. But this order now will sit here. See this order history?
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening to me and you're mailing to the same place over and over, you just, when you're ready to go again, you click on it and then you get in it and you say repeat order.
Oh, easy.
All right there, boom, ready to go. Pay for it again or pay for it with a check at the post office. Most people just pay online. Print out your reports, get your printing, put it together, drop it off, done.
And so basically you'll drop it off and they'll put all the addresses on?
There's no addresses. So that where they get the information from is right here. We
Oh,
basically are
okay.
saying, go to this zip code, go to all the houses on this route. So there's a mail carrier for that route. That mail carrier will get all your pieces and they literally include yours with the day's mail. And the beauty part is it pretty much, depending on where you are, it's out with the next day's mail.
Wow.
It's fast because there's no machining. You're not going to a hub and getting resorted back out. You're literally driving right to the post office, handing it to them, saying where it goes, and then they're mailing it with the next day's mail. So I've seen people even use it for like open houses. If you want a neighbor, the neighbors to know, you can give them something, Wednesday, Thursday. It's in the mailboxes by Friday and they're showing up at the open house on the weekend. So there's no delay. There's no, how it can take however long mail can take. It's boom, boom, boom. Right away.
That's super, because ours currently goes to a different state to the hub and then comes back up to North Carolina, which is so backwards to me. But so Casey had a great question. She said, do you need to leave a section of your card open for the post office to print on?
That is a great question. I'm gonna pull up some of mine now. You don't. That's the other awesome thing about Every Door. Let me show you one. This one, I like this one.
That's
Okay.
pretty.
This is one of mine.
Oh, it looks great.
Thanks. So here's what it has to look like on the back. This thing right here, and I'll send this to you. This is called the Every Door Direct Mail Indicia. It's all that has to be on there. So it basically is saying, hey, I paid for this without using a stamp. It's kind of a bulk mail stamper. All this, there's no addressing happening here. So you can use all this for messaging. I don't know if you guys are big online. I'm assuming you are down there. If you have a QR code for your business, highly recommend you add that to your direct mail. It's sort of that online, offline feel to your cards. It's free to get a QR code. If you need help, just let me know. And then, your messaging, whatever that is. But yeah, that answers your question. So here, the post office will just say, local postal resident. I always change it. So if you're mailing to whatever that town was, say that. I forget what town it was in North Carolina, but put that in there.
Yeah.
North Carolina town, I'm from Reddington. So mine says Reddington neighbor.
So if we put that in there and it's just like an image, like we can take that into our Canva
I'll
design
send
and just
it
put
to
it in
you.
there.
Yep, it's, you just drop it right in. And it
And then
never
the post
changes.
office won't print over it.
No, there's no printing, there's no machining. That's why it's only 18 cents a piece. There's no, they literally are gonna take, I have some out there, but they're gonna take your printing and hand it with the day's mail. There's no machining. There's nothing gonna happen with a machine. It's literally just gonna drop.
That is awesome. Okay, thank you so much. Corey just said she had to go get the kiddos. Thankful for you, Kristy. Please come to our group more often. Love your energy.
Yeah, I'll send you everything I have.
That's so good. I have one quick question because I know I'm trying to be in the interest of your time. Kristy, can you share with me really quick? Do you have to have a certain size mailer for
Yes.
every door
Yep,
mail?
that's the other thing. The most
Okay.
economical size is 6 1/4 by 9. It fits the most up on a press. So you can do all different sizes, but the minimum size that I recommend is 6 1/4 by 9.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Real quick, I'll just say we also have a printing service. We're like 1/3 of the cost of online printers. I'll send you
Oh,
our
good.
price list. If you ever
Yeah.
want me to help you, I'd be happy to help you, and I'll UPS
Yeah.
it out all over the country.
No, that's so perfect. So let's do that. And if you can send me that info, and when we post the recording of this video in She Sparks, I'll tag that right along in there too.
Okay, super. I'll send everything over to you.
Oh, that was so helpful. Like, I cannot thank you enough for your time. It was such a valuable session. So thank you so
good.
much.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me, and happy getting listings. I'd love to hear how you make out. It makes my day when I hear people are successful.
We'll share it in our group. I'll ask everybody to share it. So that is so great. Thank you so much. Casey, thanks for being here. Corey, thank you. Kristy, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Hey, Corey, can you stop recording?